Greetings and welcome to Voices Less Said podcast show with Dr. PMak. Sometime in 2024, I got a couple of messages in my LinkedIn account, and one of the people that had messaged me is Diana Schaffter. And Diana Schaffter is a teacher, educator, international speaker, mother, and a grandmother. And Diana is someone who is no stranger to adventure. She recently published a book called Armando and the Amazing Race. And Diana has lived overseas in Asia and Eastern Europe for 42 years, and including 2 years in North Korea. And I found that to be fascinating. And so today, I'm having a conversation with Diana Schaffter, talking about her travel, her cultural experiences, as well as a new book, Armando and the Amazing Race. Join us today on Voices Less Said with Dr. PMak. You call yourself someone who's no stranger to adventure, right? So was there a moment in your early life when you realized you're kind of built for the traveling lifestyle?
Well, I had a mentor in life. My mother had been an airline stewardess way back in the day. She worked for British Overseas Airlines and traveled around the world. So
Yep.
she raised me to think
Yep.
that the world is our school.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. And so many years on, you then traveled around, and when you in fact spent 42 years abroad. I've just told my listeners as I was doing my intro that Diana has spent 42 years abroad. So what took you abroad? You're originally from the US, you're now settled in Canada. And so what took you to these different countries?
Well, both my husband and I, we studied public health,
Okay.
tropical medicine.
Hmm.
And so our first job took us to Thailand,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
we worked with a Thai NGO,
Hmm.
non-governmental organization in
Hmm.
public health. And
Okay.
so that's what started the ball rolling. And then we hopped from country to country. Uh,
Yep.
we worked in public health, but then I switched into education and I worked in
Yep.
international schools.
Wow. Okay. And so as you're hopping, from place to place, just my little research that I did is notice that you stayed or lived in North Korea for a while.
That
What
was our last posting
that was your last posting?
because we
Okay.
were at that point in our lives. My husband, Tim, he worked with
Hmm.
United Nations with UNICEF.
Okay. Oh,
And he
nice.
was,
Okay.
you go to very different, diverse locations with UNICEF. And our last
Hmm.
posting for 2 years was
Hmm.
with in North Korea, which was quite unusual because my passport, I was
Yeah.
born in America. And so,
Yeah.
that's an
Hmm.
unusual
Hmm.
combination.
Yes. Wow. So what was daily life like in North Korea? I was thinking this morning, I was like, wow, I wonder what was life like?
Well, as in my book, Armando and the Amazing Animal
Hmm.
Race,
Yeah.
it talks about we are one, and
Hmm.
so that was really put to the challenge
Yeah.
because I was considered the enemy,
Yes.
and so, and then in America, uh,
Hmm.
even though I hadn't lived there for so many years, 42 years away from
Yeah.
America. But
Yeah.
still, the concept was that Americans
Mm.
are the enemy.
Yeah.
So we were told that North Korea was the enemy. I mean, that's how
Yeah.
it was,
Sure.
enemy meeting enemy. But
Hmm.
I had to put to the test, we are one, by
Yeah.
trying to look for what was similar, looking for the good, looking
For the
for the
good.
good,
Yeah.
finding something I could find that was good. And
Mm.
I really came to the conclusion that people are people everywhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you are, you're always going to find someone, and that you can find something good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we have these different political
Hmm.
systems, but that
Hmm.
doesn't reflect on the individual uh, people that live in these
Yeah.
places. People
Yeah.
are
Sure.
people.
Sure. Yeah, you've just mentioned Mando and Amazing Race, your book, and we'll get to your book a little later on. But just trying to unpack some of the experiences, perhaps that have even informed, Armando coming into play. And you're so right, that what we have to do, and what I try to do, in fact, if I speak of myself, is just try and find these connections on a day-to-day basis, right, with people, because people at the end of the day are fundamentally people, right? Never mind the systems that shape society or culture or politics, as it were. And so, thinking about your experience in North Korea, what surprised you about that society that contradicted perhaps Western perceptions? Was there anything that?
Well, I was told before we went to stay there that
Mm,
nobody would smile,
aha,
and that wasn't true. People
wow,
like to joke around, they like to laugh. That that was not
yeah, yeah,
ended up not being correct.
yeah,
So that was interesting, and they love to go to the parks with their children,
sure,
and
yeah,
all very normal. There are aspects of that society that are very
life that's
normal.
normal.
Of
Mm.
course, there are other aspects as well, but if you're looking for the good, you're looking for those kinds of things.
I love it. I love it. And so moving on from there, I know that, at some point in our conversations, you've told me that you're also raising your children as you moved. What what were some of the biggest challenges of, I call it, international parenting, right? That came along with that journey.
Well, our children, now we were different in that we didn't bring our children from another culture to the culture. Our
Mm.
children were born in Thailand.
Oh
So
wow.
for
Okay.
quite a while, they saw themselves as Thai.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
even international school teachers
Yeah.
would ask our kids, "Where are you from?" And they would say Thailand. And
Yeah.
they would look at them because physically they
Mm.
don't look Thai,
Yeah.
but inside they felt Thai. So
Mm.
sometimes I think the challenges for them is when they would go back to North America
Yeah.
and the way that they look, because they're, blue eyed, blonde haired kids,
Yeah.
they looked North American. Well, not North American, but, they looked Caucasian,
Yeah.
but inside they were Asian. so,
Yeah.
um,
Wow.
so a lot of times people didn't understand them, and their
Mm-hmm.
best friends ended up being international kids.
Wow. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. And then a little bit of, or a good part of your experience too, is working with Cambodian refugees. I suppose that experience was quite profound. What did that experience teach you about sort of the role of education in healing and in hope? Because I know that Cambodia suffered quite a lot, a devastating war and stuff. How did that experience teach you about healing and hope?
Oh, that's a good question. When we would go to visit these camps to do our work,
Mm,
and
mm,
the resilience that they had, they were given
yeah.
just bamboo poles and a plastic sheet to make their homes.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Really, I never forgot this, that the most important thing to these families was for their kids to be educated.
Mm,
So even though they had nothing, and they were just
mm.
trying to survive, they wanted to know about the world. And I
Wow.
remember a 12-year-old boy, I was sitting with him and we were chatting, Cambodian
Mm,
boy, Cambodian
mm-hmm.
refugee boy. And we were talking about things, and I looked up at the sky because you could see the stars starting to come out. It was a little bit, it was at the end of the day. And I talked to him about the planets and the solar system, just, out of conversation. He had never heard of the solar system, did not know that there were other planets because he had not had the education. And, he was angry. He said, "Why? I never knew about this." And what was really interesting, fast forward 30 years, he found me on Facebook.
Oh, wow.
And he wrote and he said, "Are you the lady that taught me about the solar system?"
Wow.
Because it was like a eureka moment that this whole system exists, but no one had taught him because they were refugees and they didn't have a normal education.
Yeah. Wow, I find that to be so fascinating, right? And I think about my own experiences with education too. A couple of years, some years back when I was doing my doctoral program, there's so many things that I even was asking my professor. I was like, how come I didn't know this? How come I didn't know this? How come I didn't know this? And so just interesting, just the power of education, right? That's just the power of reading beyond what is given to us, perhaps maybe at a community level, but just being able to be inquisitive and wanting to know. And so good on that student of yours, right, for reaching out and saying, "Hey, are you the one who taught me?" Wow.
Well, something that's interesting for me that it can go all different directions because I had come from the West, right, and I went to the East, and I had not known where certain plants. What did they look like a vanilla plant or a cardamom or, different plants.
Yes.
And so my education was limited as a Westerner.
Yeah.
And when I went to the East, I had those eureka moments. Like I never knew that vanilla came from this plant or that pepper came from here, So it's
wow,
learn from each other.
Yes, that's a very good point too about what you'd spoken earlier on about humanity, right? That it's really, I mean, when I think of education, sometimes education is grounded in context, right? And so whether you're in Thailand, in Cambodia, or you're in Southern Africa, you're in Zambia, or right, education, you know what you know based on your environment, and then it takes going to a different place where you actually then start getting to learn a whole lot of things. And I can't wait to get to asking about Amando and the questions that were coming through, right? Because that in itself was an insightful journey, an insightful book that I want us to talk about. And so you've spoken about sort of just, the notion of human resilience and, the importance of just cooperation and caring, right? When you're talking about your experience when you're living in North Korea. What country or culture would you say challenged your assumptions about life the most? When you think of your 42-year experience and traveling outside North America, what country or culture challenged your assumptions about life the most?
Wow. I mean, of course, North Korea did challenge me profoundly. It really put to test a lot of my beliefs. And I had to look past so much in order to connect. So I feel perhaps North Korea, but each country you have to go past certain misconceptions, misunderstandings, broaden your view so you understand things at a deeper level.
That's fantastic. And thanks for that response. And so I'll bring it home now and sort of wade into a little bit of Amando. I am sitting, I see a LinkedIn message on my phone, and I go about doing my business. And then when I get some time, I'm like, okay, let me look at my LinkedIn messages. And I start chatting with Tim and Diana. And soon enough, we get to meet at a coffee shop in Sydney, BC. In fact, you invite me to your home. I come to your home, and what a wonderful first encounter that was. For me, my experience, and I think I've shared this with you, my first experience with you was one of warmth and caring, and we are one. We are Ubuntu. We are never mind the differences in our skin color, but we are one. Welcome to our home. What can we do to serve you? How can we help you? I mean, that was the most, most peaceful moments I've felt in a very long time living in a different space. And so thank you and Tim for creating that environment and for being authentic. But even as you speak about these different experiences, cultural experiences, I get to have an insight, right, into, what makes you perhaps both who you are. And so thank you for that profound experience. That's forever etched in my heart.
You may not see the other flip side of that, but for us, we're new to Canada. We're like immigrants. Honestly, there are many immigrants who have lived here longer than us because we had lived overseas. So when we came back, we were missing connections with people with a broad view. To meet you was equally as restorative for us. I can't express it correctly, but it felt very much, we felt at home.
Wow.
Because your perspectives are so in line with our own that we felt at home.
Oh, so did I. So did I, Diana. Like, I mean, again, this is like, I always say to my kids, even as we are speaking or as we are traveling, we love doing a lot of road trips, or when opportunity, comes, we just travel around. And I always say to my kids that, look, traveling is just not for the sake of staying in a different hotel every night, or it's really broadening your worldview, understanding different cultures, understanding different communities and ways of doing things. And it goes without saying, at least in my view, that I can tell a traveled person from one who is not, based on how they approach the world, based on their worldview, how they interact with people that don't look like them. And so thank you for creating that space, and for having all of these experiences that now you've been, you've started sharing. And it was at that meeting in your home, you were so curious about my journey as an author, and I was curious about your journey as an author, and you got to introduce Armando, the book. So tell us, how did that whole journey begin with the book Armando?
This, I can't believe, like you as an author, when you can actually hold your book, it's pretty.
My son is, by the way, my son is appropriated mine. He's taken it. It's up in his room. He's like, nope, Dad, this is my book now. I'm like, yeah, I know she signed it for you, but I still. That's how much he's loving it.
Well, Armando started in the world because I was an international school teacher, and I noticed that kids in my class knew more about Pokemon than they knew about polar bears, or they knew about some mystical fantasy location that doesn't exist. And they would think that Africa, for example, they would think it's a country. So they didn't have a global view or a connection to this amazing, awesome world that we live in, and all these awesome animals. They knew more about things that exist here rather than in the real world.
In the real world.
And so that is what spurred this book to be born.
Wow, that's amazing, Armando and the Amazing Race. And so it features Granny D writing a letter and asking for some missing items. So how did you conceive the plot? How did you conceive the story? What was your process?
Well, I wanted to have a book that would engage even reluctant readers. So I knew it, and I didn't want it to be preachy.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted it to be authentic,
Mm-hmm.
realistic, but be an adventure.
Mm-hmm.
And our family
Yep.
traveled, so we had
Yep.
many adventures. And sometimes when I tell the adventures, people they can't believe that it's true.
It's true. Yep.
But a number of the actual adventures that take place are based in reality.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
but it was, wanted kids not just to know about one country, because sometimes there
Mm.
are cultural books that deal with a specific culture.
True. Yep.
However, I wanted a character like my boys did. They
Yeah.
traveled. Well, I call them my men now because
Yeah.
but they traveled from country to
Yep.
country with us,
Yep.
experienced new cultures, and I
Yep.
observed what that did for them as human beings. And
Mm.
I wanted a Armando to take
Mm-hmm.
kids around the world with him as he
Yep.
learns about different cultures.
Yep.
And so he makes mistakes. Our kids
Mm-hmm.
made mistakes, and
Mm-hmm.
with different
Mm-hmm.
cultures. We made mistakes. We had
True.
misunderstandings. So
Yeah.
I wanted kids to experience that and
Mm.
look through Armando's eyes to see these new
Mm-hmm.
cultures, new
Mm-hmm.
animals, new different relationships with people from different
Yep.
backgrounds.
Yep. That's amazing. And so Armando is just, not meeting new cultures, new relationships, and understanding people from different cultures, but there is also a fundamental aim of the book, right? Which is Armando trying to save endangered animals, right? And save
Yes,
the Amazon rain. So was that an important part of your plot writing as
a
well?
very important part because it my hero from an early age was Jane Goodall.
Yes. Oh, and you got to go watch her speak
Yeah,
a
I went
month
to I
ago.
saw her speak just about a
Wow.
month
Yeah.
ago in
Yeah.
Vancouver,
Mm-hmm.
and her patience and perseverance to
Mm,
understand these amazing creatures that live in our world, the environment,
mm,
and to have such
mm,
respect for the environment. That hit
mm.
hard for me as a kid. And
Mm-hmm.
I ended up studying biology in
Okay.
undergrad.
Okay.
And I felt when I see kids spending so much time here
Mm-hmm.
and not spending much time in the world,
Yeah. On the world. Yeah.
uh, it is worrisome. They call
Yeah.
it nature deficit syndrome,
Mm.
where
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
disconnect from reality
Yeah.
so much that we really don't uh, have a passion or a love to take care of our planet.
Yeah.
And we have animals disappearing at a very alarming rate. And I want my grandkids to see polar bears.
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
them to see red pandas,
Yeah.
to see four-toed jerboas. Um,
Yeah.
and so I went with my husband. We went to search for these animals, the same.
Yeah. I was gonna come to it, right? That is, it's not something that you just wrote about, right? But you actually did the travel, and how was that?
Well, it was the adventure of writing an adventure, which was to research it. And
Wow.
so my adventurous husband Tim
Yeah.
went
Yep.
with me. We traveled to India
Mm-hmm.
to try to find a spectacled cobra,
Wow.
and we went on a
Wow.
snake safari
Snake
at 4
safari.
a.m. in the morning.
You won't find me doing that. One, you won't find me near snakes. Two, you won't find me thinking about going on a snake safari at 4 a.m.
Well,
No.
I did not think I would, but I
Yeah.
really wanted to get past that fear of snakes.
Okay.
And I really respect snakes a lot more now
Wow.
because I found out in India,
Yeah.
they have, snakes protect their food storage because
Okay.
without the snakes, uh, the rats will eat all their grains. And
Yeah. True.
so you
True.
need the snakes.
Yeah.
Snakes aren't
Yeah.
these evil, horrible creatures.
Yeah.
They help balance other aspects of
Yeah.
the environment.
Yeah. I hear you that they balance in my head. I'm still having that horrible creature. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But I find that interesting too, right? Just not only do snakes balance, but each animal or creature created brings in some form of balance into this ecosystem, right?
Yes, the
Wow.
biodiversity.
The
And it's
biodiversity, yeah.
even the same with us humans. We
Mm.
need each other and we
Hmm.
need the diversity. And
Yeah.
that is what makes us strong.
True. 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 And so you traveled to India. Where else did you travel to? Did you go to the Amazon? Did you?
Yes,
Which other countries did you travel to as you're doing research for the
we
book?
went to Brazil and
Uh huh.
we went to Manaus
Uh huh.
to go to the Amazon to find the pied tamarin monkey.
Wow.
And we stayed, we went on a little boat and
Mm-hmm.
we would go into the rainforest. We
Yeah.
would,
Yeah.
yeah, we would go on the rivers, the Amazon River in
Yeah.
search of this monkey. And
Wow.
we had great conservationists who
Uh
would
huh.
help advise us.
Okay.
And we didn't find one. And so we were so
No.
disappointed. And it was the last day of our stay there. And someone came running from our guest house and they said,
Uh huh.
the monkey is in the back. And
Oh.
ran. And
Yeah.
there was a pied tamarin monkey up in the
Tamarin monkey.
way up high in the trees.
Wow.
And we were able to photograph. But it was an exciting moment, but at the same time, it was very sad because it
Mm.
meant that the territory of the pied
Yeah.
tamarin monkey had shrunk so much
So
that the
much.
only place that you see it is not out in the Amazon in the rainforest. It's because that is being cut down, is
Yeah.
that the only place you're seeing it is near the city, which is not the normal territory of
Which is not the
this
normal.
creature.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Mm. Mm. Mm.
their territory is being really eroded. And
Yeah.
um, so that is part of their challenge
Yeah.
as an animal. Yeah.
Yeah, and I see why again the book, particularly when it's focused to young children, why conservation is a key part, right? And saving endangered animals or species is very very important, right? Like you said, right, that it's important to be able to see snakes. It's important to be able to see tamarin. Monkeys, right? And so we need to work together as society, as humanity, to ensure that we preserve as much as possible, that we don't endanger these wonderful
Yes,
animals.
if we can't figure out how we can live together, because we're all
Hmm.
part of this creation, we're all part,
Yes.
we all need each other. And
Mm.
if we cannot work that out, if we can't help the environment, have passion
Yeah.
and respect for the environment, we ourselves will suffer.
True.
We sometimes think, oh, they're suffering. Oh, as long as we're okay, it's fine. But
Mm.
if they
No.
suffer, we suffer.
That's true. That's true. And I mean, you're just speaking about, again, the notion of Ubuntu, right? That I am because we are, right? That
Yes.
our destinies are always inextricably linked, right? There's just no, and I found so much joy when I came to your house and we're sitting there, we're having tea and we just took and then had lunch, beautiful, wonderful lunch. Just talking about all of these real things, right? That we cannot do without each other, right? That we have to work together. We have to find ways of collaborations, right? Will we agree all the time? Perhaps not. But what's important is just this fundamental foundation of knowing that we have this, inextricable destiny.
Yes, your principles by which you live by are
Mm.
we totally agree with them and,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
embrace
I
and
love
love that.
Oh, that's so kind of you. And so, speaking about the book, it was launched May 20th here in Victoria at Russell Books. How has been the uptake so far? And I know you've been on newspapers. The book is doing #1 on the Amazon best sellers list. Tell us about that. That's wonderful news. Congratulations.
Yeah, that was very exciting because I didn't
Yeah,
expect that.
yeah.
And so that it became a bestseller in Canada and in America. Uh,
Wow.
and it was connected to the endangered species category
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
there are not that many books for kids that
No.
connect to the real world endangered,
Yep.
a novel, I mean,
Yep.
that
Yep.
deals with endangered animals. And
Yep.
so that helped it achieve bestseller status.
Yeah.
And we've had amazing readers of all ages from all over the world.
Yes.
And so
It's
that has helped a lot. I
that's
have
so
learned a lot from those
yeah.
readers.
Oh wow, wow, that's so amazing. And so to my listeners who are listening and are curious about the book, where can they find Amando and the amazing Elma
Oh,
Race?
well, thank you for asking. They can find it, of course, on Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
both in many countries now.
Yeah. Yep.
However, if they want, they can also go to Barnes and Nobles or
Mm-hmm.
Indigo.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and in local bookshops here, they're at Bolin Books
Yep.
and Russell Books.
Yep.
And yeah, and if you have a favorite bookstore, you can go and order it at your favorite
Okay.
bookstore.
And then they'll bring it in for
Yes.
you. That's amazing. And so now, when you work with young people today, even as you do, sort of book readings at libraries, or whether it's Russell Books or Bolin Books, what do you hope to inspire in them based on your journey and based on this book?
I hope to inspire in them to broaden their vision, to
Mm-hmm.
be interested in the world, not only
Yeah.
the different cultures, but also
Mm-hmm.
the different uh, aspects of the environment, the different animals, and
Yeah.
also the different viewpoints from people from
Mm.
different
Mm.
parts of the world. So, just
Mm.
to have a broader vision, to look for the good in different
Mm.
people, in themselves, in others,
Mm. Mm.
to see that we have so much in common and that we really are one. The
Yeah.
animals, the people, all different diversity together, we are one, really.
We are one. Fantastic. We are coming just to the end of our time together here, but I won't let you go until you answer this question. So you are stuck.
Okay.
If you were to have dinner with three people, living or dead, who would they be and why? So I always ask my guests this question because I always find answers very very interesting.
Okay. Gosh, I would have to think. Let me see. Well, Gandhi,
Uh huh.
because I very much respected how he handled huge challenges in
Mm,
a peaceful manner.
yep.
Um, Mandela,
Okay.
because again, someone who had so many challenges but was able to rise above it
Okay.
in
Yeah.
such a respectful and noble, I would say, a very noble manner.
Mm.
Um, and Jane Goodall.
I was about to say. I was about to,
I
I was
got
about to
close,
say.
but I didn't get to actually speak with her, but I did get to hear her speak.
Yep. And again, perhaps with the connections that you made with her assistant and the people that work around her, who knows? That opportunity might come by for you to get to meet and
That
speak
would
with her.
be very inspirational for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wonderful. Diana Schaffter, you are such an inspirational human being. The work that you have done around the world, the way you've worked with communities, not to impose your beliefs or impose yourself, but to learn, right? To learn, listen, and know about different contexts is amazing. Thank you so much for what you bring to this world. Thank you so much for authoring, Armando and the Amazing Animal Race.
Well,
Uh, I look forward to learning more about the success that the book is making out in the world.
thank you
Yeah,
for inviting Armando to join your program.
yeah. Thank you so much, listeners. I've been speaking with Diana Schaffter, an author, an environmentalist, a speaker, a trainer, an educationalist. She wears so many hats, but importantly, a really kind human being that is making this world a better place each day. Thank you so much for joining us on Voices Listed with Dr. PMak. Diana, until next time, thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for listening to the Voices Listed podcast with Dr. PMak. I hope you enjoyed insights that came out of this conversation. Keep your notifications on. Our next episode will be dropping soon. Thank you and enjoy.